Hey everyone, this is Essa, and today I decided to bring one of my builds that I've been using as Emperor and non-Emperor for the last month I think. And it's been working out really well with the amount of damage that I can output in the fights. So basically I'm going to start off first with what do I use, what kind of sets, skills, weapon, and all of that. So first of all, you'll notice in this build that I have a really low stamina recovery. The reason to that is most of the time I play with my friends. Like I have a lot of friends that I play with, like usually 3 to 4 people. But even like without them, I can utilize this build to work with this low region because I rely a lot on the Unchained Pass. So whenever somebody hits me with a CC, I break out of it. I cast Shuffle and Rally at the cost of like basically no stamina, so I can reuse the remaining stamina for like jabs, blood craze, and whatever. So let's start with the armor setup. Currently I'm using 511 to utilize the Undaunted passive where I get 6% stamina, health, and magicka. I use 2 Engine Guardian pieces, that way it really helps out with my low stamina. Like when you get that stamina proc of Engine Guardian, you at least get like 15 to like 20k stamina back, which is really nice, especially like when you're really out of resources. Other than that, it also gives you magicka and health, which can help you like cleanse yourself out of dots or proc Mage Light if you want to. Then I use 4 body pieces of Alchemist, chest, boots, greaves, and gloves. And my 5th piece is my two-handed weapon. So basically I buff myself, proc Alchemist, and then I switch to dual wield. That way I have 3 extra pieces on my dual wield bar. I have Lecky's belt and 2 rings of Lekai. Then Necklace of Agility and 2 Swords of Agility. So basically I'm running 3 Agility, 3 Lecky's, 5 Alchemist, and 2 Engine Guardian. So basically, whoever wants to do a different setup for this build and use, let's say, two-handed as their main bar, what you can do here is you can put a Alchemist bow, so you can proc your 5th piece Alchemist on your bow, and then you switch to your two-handed, and you'll have that 129 extra weapon damage. That way, if you think about this build a little bit, you'll be like, oh, I don't have to spend a lot of money to buy agility rings. I don't have to spend 300k to buy 2 robust agility rings. I don't have to go and farm Maelstrom Arena for 60 or 80 times just to get a weapon that gives me like 170 or 180 weapon damage. I mean, yeah, you kind of lose on a little bit weapon damage, but guess what? You don't have to go through that suffering. You still have 129 weapon damage, and you can basically pick whatever you want. You can make a sword, use axe, use mace, so it saves you a lot of money and a lot of effort. So other thing that I can talk about a little bit here, for example, if you're not used to the stamina recovery here and you feel like it's really low for you and you're running out really quickly, what you can do is Marksman belt and 2 Marksman rings. That way you get 258 stamina recovery, which is a lot. Like it puts you up really high. I mean, for me, when I'm fighting in this build, like you would see me sometimes, like I would be fighting and like depending on the situation I'm in, I would just pop this and I'll have almost 1400 stamina recovery. So I just start gaining back my resources and then I would switch back once I'm fine. So that's one way to do it. Or even if 3 marksman is not enough for you, you can do 3 marksman and use that food. That way you'll have like 1900 regen, or maybe even 2k with like 32k stamina and the same amount of weapon damage that you can get, which is like 3740. Like when you proc Alchemist and the weapon damage, it usually goes up to like 5.5 or higher. So let's go through the skill set. I use biting jabs as like my main damage, blood craze to inflict the dot, javelin, which is a really good CC, especially if you hit somebody. If you cancel it, animation cancel, and hit somebody from the back, it locks them down. They cannot get up, and you can instantly get a kill on them. Steel Tornado for execute, like whenever you jump into a big group and you start spinning, usually helps out a lot. Vigor to heal. Dawnbreaker of smiting, which is the main. See how much it does a lot of damage. Like the initial burst with this, like whenever I proc Alchemist, Mage Light with the Rally, and I go hit somebody with Dawnbreaker of Smiting, they will instantly die. The reason to that is one of my enchants on my sword is prismatic, so if I hit a vampire with smiting Dawnbreaker, they're instantly dead. Like if they're not blocking, if they're not aware that I'm gonna hit them with that, they will just die, because this thing will proc for like 4 to 5k on them. And the other one I use weapon damage. So now we can go through my CP setup. We'll start off with the blue tree, the ritual. I have all my points here. I don't have any in bless or any in healing. I mean, you can do like 10 points if you want, but I'm all about damage. I want to maximize damage. So basically this setup is the best setup you can get on dual wield. I probably spend like 300 or 400k ul to find like the best variation of CP that I can put into this tree. So 53 in thumb, 30 in precise, 6 piercing, and 78 in mighty. The reason to that is because my dots hit really hard, so I have to have a lot of points into this. For example, if you're using your two-handed as your main bar, which I'll make another build for that, like a previous build that I used before, I would take a lot of points for thumb and put it here. Like I have like a sheet where I recorded the best numbers for like two-handed mace, for to do like 13k dizzying swings and all that. I mean, I spent a lot of money on this stuff. This is my resistant, like the steed tree. I have 35 points to resistant. Why I have 35 is because I have a lot of like 5 of my body pieces are in pen and 2 of them are not, so because of that I have 35 points into it. Like if I had 7 in pen, this would be 12, and I'd have more points into hardy or elemental. This tree, it really depends on what kills you the most in PvP. If you feel like Magicka builds are killing you, you put more, which is in my case. Yeah, I get killed by Magicka builds. Like, it's the most thing that on my recap that hits me a lot. Like, I don't have any issues with stamina, like stamina builds or dots, because I cleanse them, but sometimes you gotta have a lot of, especially when somebody hits you with a meteor. Like when you're fighting multiple people, you'll have to be ready to get hit with like 3 or 4 meteors, which always happens to me. So I have to have some into that. And this also gives you that Unchained passive that I talked about. Whenever I break CC, I cast Rally and Shuffle it. It's always like that. I always do it. And that way you save up on a lot of your stam. I don't have any points here. I put 37 in to reduce the cost of stamina abilities, and 11 for Magicka. This sheet really depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to put more into stamina regen, you can add more to that. Like you can put it up to 85, and that way, like if you do the 3 marksman setup, you'll have a lot of like more regen than what you would have with 68 points here. Or if you want to run with like no regen, you're running with your friends and you have somebody that gives you shards and heals and all of that, you can just take all these points and split them between Warlord and Tumbling, because you'll need these things a lot in the battlefield. So I think basically I've covered everything in this video. There's one thing I forgot to mention, which is why Mage Light and why no Gap Closer. 3 reasons for Mage Light: Empower, Reveal Night Blades, and take 50% less damage from stealth. Like whenever you go into the open field and you want to kill somebody or like kill a group, you're gonna get opened up by a Nightblade or snipes, so it's good to have it. Like it saves you sometimes. Why no Gap Closer? Is because I use my Orc speed, 10% speed with immovability speed pots to run really quick, so I can basically just cast this and I'm really fast. Like I can just run up to somebody and like hit them instantly. And this is like my buff bar. Like I only have buff abilities. I mean, if you have somebody that Repentance in your group or a friend and you don't like Mage Light, you can just put Crit Rush and Dizzying Swing, and that way you have 2 offensive bars and just have like Werewolf here, so you get more stam. Or you can even have Dawnbreaker or Smiting on both bars, so you can do damage instantly and kill on both of your bars. So I guess that's it for this build for now. I'll be making another video for a build that is gonna cover like 2-handed abilities and the best CP passive for it and all of that. If you like this video, make sure you follow me and subscribe to me on YouTube, and follow me on Twitch, I mean, because I'll be releasing more content and you'll be able to see this build like play out in the open field and like closed areas and all that. And I hope to see you all guys in the battlefield, especially Stamplars. Good luck, and thank you.